Hello. So in this class of cloud computing, today we'll study here about the cloud computing business planning model. So that means before actually deploying the applications to cloud, it is necessary here to consider the business requirements, that what are the requirements of your business, and then what are the issues that you need to handle before deploying the particular applications to your cloud platform here. So first of all, here we will see the various issues and then we will see the various planning phases. So, first are here some of the important issues which need to be figured out. That means, first of all, we should consider these issues. They should be here taken into mind. So, we have here the first issue here is the data security and the privacy requirement. Data security and privacy requirement. Now, a company or a business organization here is exchanging a large amount of data, so it's important here that the the security of data should be handled. That means the primary concerns here of any organizations before using these applications is the security of their uh, we can say valuable information and the privacy requirements. So that means what kind of deployment model here you require. That should be first figured out whether public or private cloud computing model is here required by the particular organization. Now, after that, the data security and privacy requirement, we can say that we need to consider the type of cloud. So that is basically your public, private, or your hybrid cloud depending upon the requirements. Next, what we have here is the budget requirements. And according to that, this thing is here implemented. Now, after budget requirements, you have to consider about the data backup requirements also. Data backup requirements. There should be an backup of your storage. Then training requirements. After that, we have the client access requirements. If you're just deploying this for your business requirements, so naturally you have to consider the client access requirements, that what it requires here to access it, client access requirements, and then the data export requirements. So these are the first issues which should be considered. Now, after this, the next is the planning phase. So we will see here the business planning model. Next is your planning model here. So here we have, first of all, we have to check, or we have to keep in mind here, the governance and the QoS and the management also for the project. Then we have here three different strategies for the planning model here. So the first one here is the strategy phase. Then after strategy phase, we have the planning phase. Then the deployment phase here. So, and last here we have the cloud computing best practices, which should be followed here. So, under your strategy phase, you have two uh, subcategories, which are your cloud value proposition and cloud uh, strategy. So, here we have cloud value proposition and then the cloud strategy here. So it here now moves to a next step here is the planning phase. So it includes a number of steps like your business architecture, then here we have quality of service also, but before that you have here IT architecture, which so this business architecture, IT architecture, both of these are here leading to the quality of services. And after that, in this quality of services, you have another step here or another phase here, which is your transformation planning. This is transformation planning here. Now, after transformation planning, we have the deployment phase. So, deployment phase here basically includes the cloud provider and the maintenance administration or maintenance terminal here. So this is here the planning phases. Or we can say that the model here for your cloud computing business plan that you have to deploy cloud computing applications there. So the three main phases here are your strategy phase, planning phase, and the deployment phase. Now we will study each of these phases one by one. So first of all, we have here the strategy phase. So this is basically an analysis phase. So in strategy phase, basically what we analyze is the strategical the problems that customers might face. So it includes here the cloud value proposition and cloud strategy, in which we have to see the various problems that can here be encountered by the customers, and so that they should be changed, or we can say that they should be considered here before moving to the planning phase here. So the first one which you have here is the cloud value proposition. So as we are saying that this is an analysis phase here, we can say that pre-planning phase. So the basically carries out the analysis various things here. So in your cloud value proposition, what we're doing, we analyze the factors which influences the customers when applying the cloud computing mode, and we have to see target key problems which they wish to solve. So that means what we need to check in your cloud value proposition is that we should have the IT management certification, operation and maintenance cost reduction. Then business mode, after business mode, high service quality uh, outsourcing. That means you should have here the high service quality outsourcing. So that means these are the various factors here which determines the value of this complete plan here. The cloud which you're going to deploy here, simplifications of your IT infrastructure, operation and maintenance cost reductions, the business mode, which is a very important factor, and then according to that, high service quality here. Now, after that, we have the cloud computing strategy planning. So this strategy here is basically established that what now you have to do is totally based on the results of the above steps. It means when you are considering all these steps, so basically this is an output of this first step here. So here in the strategy phase, we're just analyzing the various key target problems which can here be encountered, and these are the things which should be here considered. So next is your cloud computing planning phase or cloud computing tactics planning phase. So second is here cloud computing planning phase here. So this step here includes various planning phase like your business architecture development, then your IT architecture development, the requirements on the quality of service, and the transformation plan development here. So first of all, the very first which we have here is your business architecture development. So four steps which it includes here. First of all is your business architecture development. So here we recognize the risk that might be caused by cloud computing applications from a business perspective. So that means here, what kind of services you're just providing through business. So according to that, what you have to do, you have to deploy the cloud. So first of all, you have just to see the issues here. According to that, business architecture here should be developed. Then you have the IT architecture development. So in IT architecture development, we identify the applications that supports the business process, because this is the deployment phase for the application. So here with the IT architecture development, you have to do, you have to identify the potential applications. Identify the applications that supports your business process and the technologies which are here required to support the application and the data system. So this is quite an important step here because you have to identify the application supporting your business, and after that you have to specify or identify the applications or the data systems for the applications which are running here. Now, after IT architecture development, we have the requirements on your QoS development. So, QoS requirements, which are your quality of services. Now, QoS basically refers to the non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements such as your reliability, security, disaster recovery, etc. So these basically depends upon the non-functional factors, and we can say that the success here of any such model will depend upon the quality of services provided by that particular model here. Now, after that, the next one which we have is the transformation plan development. Now, the last phase here is the transformation plan development. So, in this step, we formulate all kinds of plans that are required to transform the current business to your cloud computing model. That's why it's in transformation plan. So, here you have to find out the appropriate plan which is here suitable to transform your current business to your cloud computing model here. So, here in this planning phase, you have to see the business architecture. After that, in IT architecture, where you have to identify the applications and the data system, then the quality of service, and then the transformation plan. That means the final plan which is here required to transform that business into your this cloud computing model here. Now, this was your planning phase. Now, after the planning phase, we have the last one, which is your deployment phase, or we can say that the cloud computing deployment phase. So, this is here cloud computing deployment phase. So, deployment means now we're actually deploying the technology there. So, it basically includes two phases. First one is your cloud computing provider, and second is your MA, which is basically your maintenance and technical assistance or services. Maintenance, maintenance and technical services. So, for cloud computing provider, it basically includes selecting a cloud provider on the basis of service level agreement, which defines the level of services that provider will meet. So, this is basically here selecting an appropriate cloud provider according to service level agreement. That means it will here define the, or it will here provide the level of services. That means the services here should meet your requirements. So, this is here selecting the appropriate cloud computing or the cloud provider here. Next, we have the maintenance and technical services. So these services are also here provided by the cloud provider. So it must here ensure the quality of services. So here you are in the deployment phase, finally selecting the provider, and this maintenance and technical assistance is associated with the cloud provider. So here we have just started about the business plan model for your cloud computing. That it includes a number of stages, starting from your strategies, then to your planning tactics, and then the deployment phase here. So this is all here for today's session. Thank you so much.